Hey, welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We're continuing off our investigation from the last episode. And if I remember, we need to present Gumshoe something so he'd help us get into the chief's office. And I don't think we have what we need right now. And I have a clue as to where we might get that. Because Gumshoe is so in love with Edgeworth, it has got to be something to do with Edgeworth that will make him budge. That will make him willing to risk his job and help us investigate. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. Huh? What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? Huh. I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Some people? Talking about me? There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? Huh. First, last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? That list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That's odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but at the time, there was only one thing on my mind. I'd used the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture. Something seems strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You're participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded for this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we've heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. This photo. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Oh, the trophy looks kind of different, doesn't it? Yeah, like there's like a sword or something like that. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding is a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was the official prosecutor trophy used until that time. There's a story behind it. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award based on. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with two characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though, for Emma's sake? Very well. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with two items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield of armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Objection! Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, we've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. He's like, objection! That story has flaws! Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had halberd, part of the award, abolished. Chief Gant. That chipped knife reminds me a lot of the murder weapon then, which is also a chipped knife. But you don't have anything to talk about that. Okay. Show my best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him. What's my best evidence? Sell knife files? Nope. Did say that he dropped something. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is standing right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. Cold, that is cold, Edgeworth. He loved you so much. What? Letter of If you can't read, I'll read it for you. It says, letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, Mr. Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died. Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Why are you so hard on yourself, man? Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. Put letter of resignation in pocket. Ah! I can use this to have Gumshoe help me. They say where there's smoke, there's fire. Apparently, I was so caught up in the smoke, I lost sight of the truth. Edgeworth, the others are right. I have no right to serve as a prosecutor. But Mr. Edgeworth, you were only doing your job. I've always made my own decisions about what I can or cannot do. That hasn't changed. Forgiving myself is something I cannot do. Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. Okay. So I need to use this. Excuse me. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Starr, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked the cow's nipple to discover milk. What? I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think that happened, or that's how we discovered milk, is it? Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Edward in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't be all attributed to mere coincidence. Are you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness. The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Starr's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. You trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean, because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lana Skye. My sister. The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duel. They were led, right? Lana and Chief Gant. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 years ago, Gant was the chief detective, and Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism, in particular, was almost surreal. His magnetism? By that, I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the case he'd handled. Incredible evidence, you mean? Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked, and always watched out for other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean, with the forging of evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you didn't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then, no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean, that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Very poetic. Thanks, Angel. Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer is still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make Detective change his mind. Yep. It's gotta be Edgeworth. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. At first, I thought he was as cold as ice, but now I know different. He trusts us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I've made up my mind. But, here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone finds out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, Detective. Thank you. He'd do anything for Edgeworth, I knew it. Now we're back. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Open sesame. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Eee! Gah! Did she slap him? Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Detective Gumshoe! What are you doing, sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Crumpled Gumshoe's ID card in pocket. Hey, don't do that to my card! I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're on this together now. Yes, we are. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. Got a bad feeling about this. That desk on the other side of the room. Was that your sister's? Yes. That's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant, and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. What's going on? What do you want? Okay, now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you, don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go like that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? Yeah, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There he goes, ignoring me again. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. A 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Do I? Is it his ID? Is his ID 777777? But that's... yeah, that is 7 digits. It could also... 1, 2, 3, that's 6 digits. Or is that considered that? Well, I can try a couple of different things. Okay, let's try it. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date? It's... just ignore him. Yeah, I don't care. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Seven, 77777. Oh, there it is! Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 777777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 777777, that ID number? I think you're 1-7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Oh yeah, that's definitely interesting. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. It somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. What's this? Looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh well, it was just a thought. Is that it? Is it all that was in there, in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. But unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to them. How are these two related to the XL9 incident? Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective. Well, is there more stuff for me to examine first? This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons? Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it, I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Jeez. Shh! Be careful what you say. Who knows? The chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Aw. Okay, let's present. So the shard I know is related to this, but the handprint, we need dust for prints before we know how it's related, right? Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? All of us put that back together. Oh, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found. You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, that one that was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again. Your proof Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Okay, it's just one piece. There, it fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line. That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? A lot better now this jar is complete. But it only raises another question. What was a piece of it doing in the chief's safe? More importantly, why wasn't there any money in there? Isn't that what safes are for anyway? I have a feeling the outcome of tomorrow's trial might hinge on this. So we need to use luminol on this blood. And we need to use a fingerprint duster. Let's pull out on here. Oh, there is some blood. The blood from 2 years ago shouldn't still be around, should it? Whoa, this area must have been covered in blood. Is this from that incident? It must be. When Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, 2 years have passed, so the reaction is kind of dull. So a murder really did take place here. After 2 years, it doesn't get cleaned up. Do I present you this? Is this how I use it? Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, let's go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on. This isn't a time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, heh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh. Where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Which finger? I guess this one's pretty clear. You lay it on thick. Because or else we'll just end up blowing like the dust away and getting nothing. Is it Gant? It's not Gant. Is it Marshall? It's not Marshall. It's not you. Oh, it's you. It's Emma. It's Emma's print? Whoa. No. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints. Psst! Hey you! Over here! What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Right, that seems like we got everything we need. Except maybe we want to like make out what that jar is saying with the blood, but I don't know. What is this stripe of cloth anyway? It's smooth and sort of feel like vinyl. I think I've felt something like this before. Nah, I can't remember. It seems this is becoming a habit with you. I can't keep everything in my head lately. I can't keep anything in my head lately. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe is going senile. Emma's fingerprints were found on this cloth. I have a bad feeling about this. Let's see. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, we were here earlier. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. Put that piece of paper he was reading in the desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence used in a case. A list of evidence. Isn't this what Edgeworth was reading too? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what... No, about the evidence list. Normally, they're twice as long. That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. Yep, he was saying the same thing. That list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. It appears so. Okay, so what Edgeworth has is the first half of the evidence list, and what Gant has is the second half. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Eek! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. I was walking to my meeting. I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog running right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But sir... Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too, then. Wait, you. The one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like to have a word with you. But sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright, we can't just leave her. We need to take her with us. How do you just leave her with that dangerous-looking guy? Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it would be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. It's hard to believe anyone could keep quiet about it all this time. Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. Oh, you'll be fine. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. No use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really, I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. Who is it you're hiding behind these words? Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. So maybe if I show her the prints... Showing evidence isn't going to do me any good now. Oh, never mind. We've got to get Lana to tell me everything she's hiding. Mr. Wright, you're evolving by leaps and bounds. I'm starting to see the hunger in your eyes. I see. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insist you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Chief Gant. Well, Miss Guy? Mr. Wright, you're addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Don't forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about the circumstances? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he's respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who would have possibly investigated that evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Want proof of the Chief's wrongdoings? Here it is. That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, alright? But it's not the Chief. Who would that be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes, you seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. You seem to have the makings of a criminal in you. What with all your fallacious accusations. Care to spend tonight in the next cell? If you ask me, you're the scary one. So that's not the right... It's not the right one. If it's not this, then it's gotta be... Oh, is it this? Evidence list. I found this in a safe in the Chief's office. This jar piece and this strip of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty of murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected, despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk was broken. I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. A knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Mr. Edgeworth's knife? That's correct. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr. Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joke Dark case. If word got out, which it would, then reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide a knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them the other day. That day. A bad feeling. The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jafe Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust, or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean? Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Officer Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card. But it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. What went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. Oh, it's getting really interesting now. This is usually when like the pieces start coming together and you get to see the bigger picture of what happens, but just like the other cases, you don't really know exactly the truth yet until the trials, and then you slowly find out more information then. So I'm really looking forward to playing that, and I'm going to end this episode now, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.